She said, "I just played games with him all night. If you're going to be controlling, then let's break up." I smiled. All right. Then I changed the house password and stopped supporting her financially. A few days later, she kept calling me nonstop, but I was busy live streaming with the most beautiful female streamer. Elena shouted, "I just played games with him all night. If you're going to control me, then let's break up." So I didn't raise my voice, I didn't argue. Shock was gone, replaced by a cold, heavy disappointment, as if a part of me had finally given up trying. So I nodded once and said quietly, "All right." Then I turned around, walked into my office and closed the door. No one followed me. The apartment was quiet. And in that silence, I knew she was frozen out there, not understanding how I could be so calm. She expected me to argue, to panic, to beg, anything but this. But the truth was simple. I was done fighting for a relationship where I wasn't respected. That moment wasn't loud or explosive. It was quiet, too quiet. But sometimes the quiet moments are the ones that end everything. That night, I decided to put myself first. I'm Liam, 28, running a small but growing design business. My work isn't glamorous, but it demands focus and a clear head. I've always been the type who values stability, good sleep, good planning, and basic respect in a relationship. Eleanor was my girlfriend for almost 2 years. She's emotional, impulsive, and honestly a bit careless. She loves comfort, loves being taken care of, and somewhere along the way she started treating the support I gave, financially and emotionally, as something automatic. Not maliciously, just thoughtlessly. Our problems didn't start with one big fight. They built up like dust in the corners. Small things we ignored until they became impossible to overlook. Her routine was simple. Work, dinner, then games until late at night. Sometimes until 2 or 3 in the morning. She'd talk loudly through her mic with her friends. Some women, some men. I didn't mind the friends. What bothered me was how she never cared how loud she was, or when I needed to wake up early. I tried to talk about it calmly. "Can you lower your voice a bit? I have an early meeting tomorrow." Or, "Babe, it's already 1 a.m. Can you finish soon?" She always brushed it off. Or, "I'll finish soon," which usually meant nothing. I didn't want to police her hobbies, but I also didn't want to live like I was sharing an apartment with a gaming club that never closed. The tension kept growing quietly. Every night she stayed up laughing loudly was another night I slept badly. Every morning I dragged myself out of bed, exhausted, knowing she'd sleep in until noon on weekends while I got up to work. The breaking point came on a night I'll never forget. I had a major presentation the next morning, a meeting with partners that could push my business to the next level. I'd prepared for weeks. I needed to sleep early, wake up fresh, and walk in sharp and confident. Around midnight, I heard her laughing through the walls. At first I tried to ignore it. I heard her laughing and talking to someone through the mic. I caught a few words, enough to know she was having fun, and it stung. Then more laughter. Loud, careless, like I didn't even exist in the same home. The later it got, I just felt numb, not angry, just aware of the situation. I wasn't mad that she was talking to another guy. I was mad that she couldn't give me one single quiet night before something that genuinely mattered to me. I'd supported her, paid the bills, made life easier for both of us. All I needed was a little respect. And that night she couldn't even give me that. Around 2 a.m., I finally got up and went to work on the couch because sleep was impossible. I remember thinking, if she can't care about something so simple, what am I even trying to protect here? By the next morning, I realized more clearly that this relationship couldn't continue. The fight that happened later, the shouting that we should just break up, the part where I said, "All right," that was just the final step. The truth is, we didn't break because of one night. We broke because she stopped respecting the life we were supposed to share, and I stopped pretending I could live with it. That's how everything fell apart. Quietly, slowly, and then all at once. The morning after that fight felt strangely calm. Not peaceful, just quiet in a way that told me the decision was already made. While Elena was at work, I started packing her things. Not angrily, not emotionally, just practical, like someone handling a task that should have been done months ago. Clothes, skincare, her gaming gear, a few books, everything went into 2 suitcases. I placed them neatly by the front door. Then I changed the password to the apartment and removed her access to the shared accounts and the secondary credit card she'd been using. I wasn't doing it to get back at her. It was just closure. For the first time in a long time, the apartment felt like mine again. Quiet, calm, and easy to breathe. I focused on my presentation. Despite feeling tired and distracted, I managed to get through the presentation better than I feared. Letting go of some of the stress helped a little. After she left, the apartment was quieter than usual. It felt strange at first, but also a relief. Just me, my work, and a level of peace I didn't know I needed. Still, after everything, I needed a different environment. Somewhere that wasn't filled with leftover heaviness. So one afternoon, I went to a cozy book cafe a few blocks from my place. The kind with warm lighting, soft music, and shelves stacked in a way that made you want to stay longer than you planned. That's where I met Serafina. She was sitting at a small table near the window, reading something thick enough to scare most people away. I noticed her laughing at a line in her book. I didn't expect anything to come of it. We ended up chatting and exchanged numbers. She was sharp, funny, and calm in a way that made you want to keep listening. And she listened back, really listened, not the distracted half-attention I had gotten used to. We talked casually for a while, and before leaving we exchanged numbers, hoping to catch up again sometime. Just two people who enjoyed talking and wanted to continue. Over the next few weeks, we met occasionally, played games together, and gradually built a connection. She joked, "How about I help you reset those bad memories? Let's play together sometime." I said, "Sure." I expected nothing. What I didn't expect was finding out she wasn't just someone who played casually. She was Seraph, a well-known streamer with a calm voice, smart commentary, and a reputation for being one of the most thoughtful players out there. When we played together later, it was surprisingly smooth. We joked and learned to work together, which made the game fun again. She explained things clearly, laughed naturally, and actually made the game fun again. After a few matches, she asked, "Want to join my stream as my teammate sometime? You've got a good voice and you play surprisingly well under pressure." It felt odd hearing that after everything I'd gone through. But for the first time in a long while, the idea of trying something new actually sounded exciting. So I said yes. And without meaning to, I stepped into a completely different world. One that didn't drain me but lifted me. A world Elena had never imagined I'd find without her. A few weeks passed and life felt lighter. I worked, played games with Serafina, joined her stream a couple of times, and surprisingly people liked me there. They said my voice was calm but funny, or that I balanced out her energy well. It wasn't anything serious, but it was new and it felt good. Then one evening everything took an unexpected turn. I was getting ready for a stream with Serafina when my phone started buzzing nonstop. Unknown number, then another, then another. I ignored them at first. But when the fifth call came in, I stepped outside the room to answer, thinking it might be work. It wasn't. It was Elena. Her voice came through shaky, messy, almost unrecognizable. "Liam, please, oh please don't hang up, sir, it's me." I closed my eyes for a second, already feeling the heaviness of what was coming. "What do you want, Elena?" She started crying almost immediately. "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I messed up. I shouldn't have yelled at you, I shouldn't have done any of it, I didn't know, I didn't think, Her words were all over the place, running into each other. It didn't sound like apology, it sounded like desperation. I kept my voice steady. "Elena, I really don't think there's anything left for us to talk about. I know we're done, but I'm struggling right now. I don't really have anyone else. Please, can we talk again?" Then came the line she had probably rehearsed. "I miss you, I love you, I don't want to lose you." But the problem was, she had lost me long before she realized it. I leaned on the balcony railing and took a slow breath. "Elena, listen, I don't hate you, but we're done, and honestly, we were done the moment you stopped respecting me." She broke down again, crying even harder. "I saw you streaming with someone. Is she the reason you're ignoring me?" I blinked, surprised she even found it. "So that's how you tracked me down?" Elena's voice turned sharp through the tears. "She's replacing me, right? She's prettier, she's a streamer, everyone likes her, is that it?" I tried to stay calm, though it was hard not to feel frustrated and drained. "Elena, I'm in the middle of livestream prep. This call shouldn't even be happening." There was a long pause. Then she whispered, "Please, Liam, just let me come home." That was the last line for me. "No," I said softly. "You don't live here anymore. You made your choice, and now I'm making mine." She tried to speak, but I ended it there. Goodbye, Elena. Then I hung up and blocked her number. I went back inside, sat down in front of my PC, and Serafina looked at me through the camera. You okay? She asked gently. Yeah, I said. Just had to close a door for good. The stream went well, maybe even better than usual. But deep down I sensed something wasn't over yet. And I was right. 2 days later, Elena showed up at my building, banging on the door and yelling my name. The neighbors complained and the building security warned her. When she still refused to leave, I called the police. Not to punish her, but because her behavior was crossing lines neither of us should ever cross. When the officers came, she finally stopped. She looked at me with a mix of heartbreak and disbelief, as if she couldn't understand why I wouldn't save her again. I wasn't her safety net anymore. I wasn't even her boyfriend. And I think that's when she understood. After they escorted her away and things quieted down, I stood in the hallway for a minute, letting the silence settle again. The same kind of silence that had started it all, but this time it didn't feel heavy. It felt like a fresh start. After everything with Elena settled down, life felt strangely open. Like someone had finally turned off a loud background noise I didn't even realize I'd gotten used to. I kept streaming with Serafina here and there, nothing too serious. Just playing, talking, and enjoying the calm connection we naturally had. She wasn't trying to impress me, and I wasn't trying to impress her. Maybe that's why it felt different. One evening after a stream, she asked, "Hey, are you free this weekend? There's this small ramen place I've been wanting to try." It didn't feel like a big invitation. Just a simple, genuine question. Yeah, I told her, I'd like that. Our first date wasn't anything fancy. Just 2 bowls of ramen, some light teasing about my aiming game, and conversations that didn't feel forced or performative. She listened when I talked, and she didn't talk over me. She asked thoughtful questions, shared her own stories, and made space for both of us in the conversation. It was the first time in a long while that I felt seen, not needed, not depended on, not used, just understood. We started meeting more often. Coffee here, a walk there, gaming sessions, where we laughed more than we played seriously. Nothing rushed, nothing complicated. Things just unfolded in a way that felt healthy, steady, and real. My work also improved. Without the emotional stress, I had more focus, more consistency. I landed a couple of new clients. I slept better. I even redecorated the apartment a bit, turning the space into something that actually reflected me instead of a messy compromise. As for gaming, it became fun again. Not a source of arguments. Not something that kept me awake at night against my will. Just a hobby. Something I shared with someone who respected boundaries and understood balance. One night, after a long day, Serafina and I sat on a park bench near her place. The weather was cool, and the city lights flickered quietly in the background. She leaned back, arms crossed loosely, and said, "You know, I'm glad you walked into that cafe that day." I smiled. "Me too, I didn't expect any of this." She nudged me with her shoulder. "Life's funny like that. Sometimes you think everything's falling apart, but it's really just making space for something better." I thought about how true that was. If Elena hadn't pushed things to the breaking point, if I hadn't finally chosen myself over chaos, I wouldn't be sitting there at all, breathing easier than I had in years. Serafina wasn't a replacement. She wasn't some reward for getting out of a bad relationship. She was simply someone who fit into my life without forcing me to shrink or bend. Someone who respected me, and someone I respected in return. As we walked back toward her building, she reached out and gently took my hand. No pressure, no expectations, just warmth. And it felt right. That night I realized something simple but important. Sometimes the hardest thing is to let go. But letting go can make room for the right person. Life didn't become perfect, but it felt calmer, more balanced and honest. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't just surviving the days, I was actually looking forward to them. That was the real ending. Or maybe at the real beginning.